This topic source is essaywriter.com. What is your opinion on the argument that face-to-face interaction is better than indirect forms of communication? I would imagine that with indirect forms of communication, they mean things like texting, emailing. Talking on the phone to me feels direct because you actually have to make sure that this person answers before you can tell them anything. That's the only way you can interact with them. So to me, that's semi-direct. But clearly, they are expressing face-to-face versus any other method. Personally, I have said this since I was in school pretty much, and I remember having access to the internet to begin chatting with people, and I said, no matter what happens in the future, I will never change my opinion that face-to-face interaction is the way to go. On top of that, when I needed help with the occasional math assignment, I always told myself, I really wish I had someone in person tutoring me with this. Or in the case of when I was trying to take French, for some reason there were some things about it that were difficult for me. I had a friend who was online with me on chat. We were using Yahoo at the time. She kept trying to help me and coach me and stuff. And sure, chat is fine, but for something like a language, especially when my biggest struggle was to pronounce, that's an example of something where a direct form of communication would be better. Even if we had video chat at the time, I don't think it would have been as effective as someone being there live showing me things. I have the same thoughts about the gym. You guys know that I absolutely hate the gym. I suck at it. I really don't progress much. Every time I'm at the gym and I'm having a bad day at the gym, which is 6 out of the 7 days that I work out, I'm always telling myself, all I need is a spotter. All I need is a coach, someone who knows what they're doing, someone who knows how to observe me, express whatever it is that I need to correct and help me with it. That's one of the few instances in life in which I would feel touching me would be justified. Like, hey, show me what's awkward about my form and help me correct it. Something like that. Imagine if you're looking at virtual exercises and you're naturally not good at doing that type of thing. Because personally, I have always been physically very awkward. I've never had that physical grace of really being artistic with my body. I've never been able to dance. I've never been able to sing. I've never been able to, outside of fine manipulation and being good at throwing things from a distance, knowing how to shoot into an object, shoot into a target or something, the rest of me is just not very well developed. And I feel like I have the potential, but I just need the guidance. When it comes to more fleshed out reasons why face-to-face communication is better, you really gain a lot of insight about somebody when you study their nonverbal expression. I like to observe people's faces. I like to be there live as they react to something or do not react to something. And I like to look them in the eye. I like to notice their breathing. I like to see tension in their face or hear it in their voices. And I feel like when you text somebody as your primary source of communication, it may lose its power because at the moment that I'm texting you, I may be feeling a certain way, but because it's a text, it can sit there for prolonged periods of time. And then after that time is up, if you get back to me hours later, I may feel entirely different to how I felt when I sent something out. And that's why I would rather just wait until I see the person if I have the option. And the most I may do is I may text you a heads up that I need to tell you something, but I won't really get into that meat of it. Unless I know that you just don't have that kind of time, then sure, I'll have to resort to that. But most of the time, when I need to tell someone something badly, I like to tell them in their face. And it really saddens me that more and more I keep seeing people who they know that face-to-face is the better way to go, but I feel like they find better comfort with being behind the screen. And I think that is a thing that you need to practice. You need to practice with being there, being present, being comfortable, addressing somebody in person, regardless of what it is, and favor that over any other communication method. So that's it, you guys. That's my opinion on this. I definitely know for a fact I'm never going to change that feeling. And I just wish that more people, I guess, aggressively defended face-to-face interactions more than just relying on written forms of communication. But I understand that in a world in which we disperse so easily, at least we have the option of staying in touch in more than one fashion as opposed to just sending letters via snail mail. But if you do have the opportunity of interacting with someone in person, opt for that. Just make it happen.